Hello, everyone. Can you hear me on the other end? Cool. Excellent. Okay. So, first of all, thanks so much, Lisa and Joanne, for the invitation, for putting this up. I think it's super interesting. I'm really happy to be here. I think that the previous speakers, both Adam, DeFi, that they were great. So I would definitely, follow them on Twitter, follow all the work that they do because they are really good, both of them. So I will have a slightly different focus today on my talk. It's what you're missing on DeFi. So I will start taking my time. So basically, I will try to speak about DeFi in a high level. So I will not go a lot into the details. So if you give me a sec, I will go ahead and share my screen. Just a minute, please. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so can you still hear me? Is everything cool? So I can put the whole screen? Yep. Sounds great. Okay, cool. Okay, so what is that you're missing on DeFi? My perspective is that if you're not looking into DeFi, you're missing on one of the most vibrant and innovative industries on Earth, which is growing at an exponential rate, and where a lot of experimentation, not only at the technological level, but also at the social level, at the economic, financial levels is happening. There's a lot of innovation going on, a lot of growth going on, and a lot of interest, really interesting outcomes that we're seeing. So the first thing that you've been missing is exponential growth of a highly innovative industry. Here are some numbers that I want to share with you. In the past 6 months alone, DeFi has grown for more than 10x. This is the total value locked metric that we use at, the whole industry uses it, but it's a DeFi pulse metric that basically states how much money is locked in the smart contracts of the DeFi platforms, DeFi protocols. If you check out on the left, you'll see that in April, we were at like $682 million in the whole DeFi. Now it's like, 5 months after, and we're at almost $8 billion in the whole industry market. So, in the whole DeFi market. So what we're witnessing is that there's really an exponential growth going on. What DeFi Dad, I think, said like he had started, being interesting in DeFi 1 year ago because there wasn't much before that. And now in a few months, throughout 2020, the growth has been outstanding, and it keeps on growing. The almost 700 million figure that you see on the left, nowadays, that is the growth that we are having weekly. So every week we are adding like 700 or 800 million dollars to value locked on DeFi. This is of course this is joined by a lot of innovative new projects and protocols that are being launched in a weekly basis. There are many of these here, but I'm just sharing a few of the many different protocols and DeFi products that are launching week after week. Yearn Finance is one of the ones that DeFi Dad mentioned, which is basically, you could think about Yearn Finance like a money robot that basically seeks the best opportunities for you in a like automated way. Balancer is pretty similar. Well, it is a decentralized exchange, similar to Uniswap. It has some differences, but basically it has the same approach of having liquidity pools and providing those liquidity pools so users can interact against them and trade different assets. We have Perpetual Protocol, we have Unstable, and we have many other projects that launch weekly, that launch with excellent teams, excellent products, and really innovative from the technological aspect, and also from the social experimental aspect, which we will dive in a couple of minutes. This is another screen that I wanted to share with you to think about the exponential growth. It's kind of related with this one previously here. So if we check this one out, total value log has grown more than 10x. There are many new projects that are launching on a weekly basis, high quality teams, high quality products, and which are really and many of these are real breakthroughs from the technological standpoint. If we take a look at this screen, here we are looking at the DeFi Pools leaderboard. So these are all like the leaderboard of the DeFi protocols. If we check out in April, we have like 24 on the leaderboard. Now in August, a few months afterwards, we have so many that it doesn't even fit on my screen now. So the growth has really been amazing, and this is something that it continues to happen week after week. It's becoming, even for the most DeFi head users, it's becoming increasingly difficult to be able to be on top on everything that is happening. And I think DeFi Dad and Adam both mentioned that this since these are trustless or decentralized protocols, one of the magic things about them, it's not really magic, but one of the great things about all of these projects and protocols is that they are interconnected, so they are transferring value among them. So if we have when new projects and protocols get on board in DeFi and add value, that automatically can be transferred with the others and interacting with the others, and in that way we get like stronger network effects, which is basically adding more value to the user. As more users get into the network provides more value to the user, and the user also provides value to the network, which also happens, of course, when new projects and protocols come in. So, second thing that I thought was interesting, I will do the same thing that DeFi Dad did to make sure that. Can you still hear me okay on the other end? If you can say yes on the chat. Yep, okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so this, maybe I'm exaggerating this a little bit, but I think that we are starting to see some signs or some signs that DeFi is starting to kind of cross the chasm or the chasm. I'm not sure if you say chasm or chasm, but which is a really important metric in technology. The chasm chart that you can see here is by Jeffrey Moore. He's an author. He has this book, Crossing the Chasm, which is really interesting. I recommend it if you haven't read it. And he basically shows the different market instances that every technological product goes through until they reach maturity and until they reach the mainstream users. So if you see here, the early market are the innovators and the early adopters, and then we go to the early majority, late majority, and so on. So DeFi, Ethereum and DeFi are still at the early market phase of the technological adoption. So I would say that we are at the early adopter phase, not innovator phase. So more adoption now, but we are starting to see some little things that are making me think that maybe DeFi is becoming ready to get into that early majority. So starting to cross this chasm and become unstoppable, basically. So there are a couple of things that I want to share with you that I think are going towards that crossing. So here's an example by Uniswap. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. They have about $2 billion weekly volume, and about 530, 600 on some days, I think, daily volume, which is it's really a lot if you think about it. This is code that lives on the Ethereum network, and that you can interact with it trustlessly. That means without any intermediary, without any middleman. And 2 days ago, Uniswap, for the first time, had more trading volume than Coinbase. Coinbase, as you know, is it's a US-based exchange, which is it's a crypto exchange for sure, but it is a company that it's centralized, so it works in a different way than all this set of protocols. And they have more funding. They have larger teams. They work directly with regulators, so they are really different. Like you could think of, I don't know, Coinbase or at least I think of Coinbase like a Google or like a JP Morgan but a crypto bank. So basically, they have more resources, they have larger teams, and Uniswap is making more daily volume than what they are doing. I mean, they surpassed the volume once, but this is a sign, I think, that really DeFi protocols, DeFi products and services are starting to, touch the early majority and touch these other, more mainstream products and mainstream users and say, hey, we are here. Another example, this is like really, really new. Aave. Aave is like money markets protocol, similar to Compound, but that's just saying that would be like wouldn't be fair about Aave, because they are continuously innovating and adding new products and services to their DeFi platform. But I don't want to dive a lot into Aave at the moment. What I just want to share with you about them is that last week they announced that they now have they were approved in the UK to be an authorized electronic money institution, which is huge, I think, for DeFi, because this means that Aave will now start bridging, so tending a bridge between traditional finance and DeFi. Basically, consumers and businesses will now be able to, through Aave, get access to payments, to currency conversions, and Aave will also be able to issue electronic money accounts for both consumers and businesses. So I think this is huge, because just like we were seeing with Uniswap, like starting to eat the volume of the centralized exchanges, being a trustless protocol. Aave being a trustless protocol, and with all the different products that they offer, getting this license and starting to connect the DeFi with the, let's call it real world or traditional finance, which is huge. So I think that, like we were mentioning, DeFi is, or there are some signs that it's starting to cross this chasm between early adopters and the early majority. Well, and to finish, and this will overlap a bit with DeFi Dad's talk about yield farming, but I'll go back just a sec. So what you're missing on DeFi, I think one of the most vibrant and innovative industries on earth, which has exponential growth, which is showing signs that it is starting to cross the chasm, and where we have amazingly interesting social experiments in capital and power distribution that are being held today. So I want to touch a little bit on this. DeFi Dad also touch on this, so I'll just touch it a little bit. here on the left, you can see Yearn Finance, Compound, Balancer, but there are many others. I just selected those three, like no reason, just select those three. But basically, when we were saying about social experiments in capital and power distribution, what I mean is like through governance tokens, which all of these platforms issue. Each of these protocols have they have their own governance token, and basically through governance tokens, what you get to do, if the distribution of tokens is fair, because you have different protocols, you have different products, and sometimes this distribution is fair and sometimes it is not. But if it is fair, if the system is done in a way that seeks to distribute power, distribute decision-making power among the community, this gets really interesting because it really distributes the ownership of the protocol among users of that protocol, and mostly via liquidity incentives, which DeFi told about. So what I mean mainly via liquidity incentives is you can, by providing liquidity to these systems, you can obtain governance tokens in exchange as a reward for that. You can also buy them in different exchanges like Uniswap, Balancer, and others. But the idea is through governance tokens provided by these platforms, they distribute ownership of the protocol among users of that protocol. So users have the right to vote. They have the right to propose changes to these protocols. So it's very different when you think it like when you compare it with like mainstream companies like, I don't know, GAFA, like Google, Apple, all of these companies where you can you don't have the access to from the starting moment or the starting. The difference between those big companies and decentralized protocols that provide governance tokens to distribute the ownership on the platform is that you can do this from scratch, and anyone can do it around the world. And the only thing you need is some capital, and you need a wallet, and that's it. Basically, you can start being a participant in the governance of Compound, Yearn Finance, or Balancer, or any other of these protocols that distribute governance tokens. So I think that is really, really powerful. And the last thing that I won't get a lot into this because DeFi spoke a lot about this, but yield farming, which is I use this like sentence to define it, is the act of leveraging different DeFi protocols and products to earn a yield or a return on their assets through a combination of lending interest and token incentives. I wanted to mention this because when we were thinking about social experiments in capital and power distribution, we have all the, like we were speaking, like I was mentioning, the governance tokens that provide you ownership over these protocols and allow you to participate in the decision making and making changes to these protocols and the way they work. And yield farming is the initial way by which these protocols are distributed, which is basically you add liquidity to these protocols and you get these tokens in exchange. And one of the important things I think of yield farming, even though like today the APYs are like 100% or sometimes more, so we don't know if those will last, but yield farming was one of the distribution mechanisms that helped a lot, and I'm going up a bit, for this change in the total value locked on DeFi. So in April, liquidity incentives, yield farming did not exist yet. So it started like with, it existed in the past, but not as we know it today. It began with comps from Compound. So yield farming was one of the main reasons why this is growing a lot. So distribution of governance tokens among the community. And that's all I got today. So 19 minutes. Thank you. If you have any question, happy to answer. I don't know if we still have time or not.